Part 2 of the CAE, the C1 Advanced Use of English paper. The open close. But Toby, how can something be open and closed at the same time? I don't know, I just don't know. But one thing I do know is how to do Part 2 of the CAE, the C1 Advanced Use of English paper, the open close part. And I'm going to tell you all about it right now. Really? Yes. Really? My name is Toby, this is Smash English, and here is everything you need to know about Part 2 of the Use of English paper, the open-close part of the C1 Advanced Cambridge exam. In Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Use of English paper, you will be given a text, but in the text there will be 8 spaces. Oh no, what should you write in these spaces? Well, you must look inside your head and your mind and your brain to figure out what the appropriate word should be. Oh no, Toby, that sounds really difficult. Well, it can be difficult, but it's not difficult if you focus on these 3 things. The meaning, the function, and the form. What does that mean? First and foremost, when you're reading a text, you should be thinking, what do these words mean? What meaning is the writer trying to convey? And this should tell you the idea you are supposed to express with the word in the space. Next, you should think about what is the writer trying to do? What is the function of this space? Is it to express a regret? Is it to talk about an event in the past? Are we linking 2 ideas together? Are we talking about the degree to which something is true? This should help you understand what type of word you need in the space. And finally, once you have understood the meaning and the function, you can focus on the grammatical form. And these are the grammatical rules that you need to follow to complete the sentence correctly. For example, if the writer is talking about an imaginary past situation and using a third conditional to do so, it helps to understand the grammatical rules of the third conditional to fill in the space. For example, if I hadn't seen this video, I wouldn't pass my C1 Advanced Cambridge exam. Now, we know in the third conditional, after would in the result clause, we need have before the past participle. So, here we write have. Really easy. But if you didn't know the form, then you wouldn't know how to do that. And if you hadn't thought of the form, then you wouldn't have got that correct. So, it's important. Yes, yes. Meaning, function, form. Let's go through an example, part 2, together. Like friends. We're friends. Right? Please be my friend.
I sat anxiously, staring at the digital clock at the top of my computer screen. It was 9:59 a.m. The lesson was to start at 10 o'clock sharp, but it felt if I'd been frozen in time. I double-checked the email to make sure the Zoom credentials I'd entered were correct. They were. All I had to do, wait. I started to panic. "Stop being so stupid," I said to myself as I wiped the sweat trickling down my forehead. Anything go wrong, I can always leave the meeting and pretend this never happened. Bing! There it was. The meeting was starting. I pinched to check if I were dreaming, but the short, sharp pain reminded me that this was real. All too real. "Hello!" A magnificent and noble voice shook my laptop speakers and with them my heart. It was Toby. This will be the best day of my life, I thought, as my smile spread from one side of my face to other. I'd across his email address on his YouTube page and decided to ask for private lessons. What followed was the best hour of my life. It was 9:59 a.m. The lesson was to start at 10 o'clock sharp.
So let's focus on the meaning first. What is the sense of the sentence? We're talking about the starting time of the lesson. When is the lesson going to start? So the function is also very simple. The function is to indicate that 10 o'clock is the starting time of the lesson. So let's focus on the form. We have to be followed by something, followed by +2, plus infinitive, then followed by the time. So What type of word could we have in this space? Well, we have two possible words here. We have due to and scheduled to, and both of these are absolutely fine. Some students will say about to. However, I wouldn't say about to coupled with the scheduled start time. That's strange. Instead, I would say, I am about to hit myself. I wouldn't say I'm about to hit myself in 2 minutes. That's weird. About to means something is imminent. It's happening within a few seconds. On the other hand, we use to be due to plus infinitive and to be scheduled to plus infinitive to talk about a programmed or timetabled event. For example, the plane is due to leave in 5 minutes, or the train is scheduled to arrive in 3 hours' time. Yes, yes! And if you want to learn more about due to and scheduled to, then you should watch this video right here, all about the present simple, because it covers this material. Great!
But it felt if I'd been frozen in time.
Let's focus on the meaning then. The speaker is not saying that they were frozen in time, because that is impossible. That is science. Instead, they are saying that they had a similar feeling to being frozen in time. It wasn't happening, but that was the feeling that they had. So the function is to create an imaginary analogy where we feel a certain way, and we're trying to draw a comparison between how we feel with an imaginary event that would probably cause us to feel that way. One way we could do this is with like. I felt like I'd been frozen in time, but this is impossible in this situation because we have the word if. And we cannot say I felt like if I'd been frozen in time because that is grammatically incorrect. No, the form there would be wrong. Can you think of a word then that when paired with if can mean the same thing as like? The answer is as. I felt as if I had been frozen in time. Wonderful. For example, when Smash English does not upload a video, I feel as if the world were ending. In this example, we've used the past simple to emphasize that this imaginary present situation is unreal. In the exercise, I felt as if I had been frozen in time, we've used the past perfect to emphasize that this imaginary past situation is unreal. This is the subjunctive, similar to the second and third conditionals. And I bet that right now you feel very confused. But don't worry, because I have a video all about using as if in this way. And you can watch it right now, right here. But don't watch it right now. Watch the rest of this video and then watch that video. That's the way to enjoy life, sequentially, one thing after the other. Yes? Yes!
I double-checked the email to make sure the Zoom credentials I'd entered were correct. They were. All I had to do, wait.
Number 1. What is the meaning? Well, the speaker had to wait. Okay. Number 2. What is the function? Well, the speaker is using a cleft sentence, and they are doing this for emphasis. And number 3. What is the form then of a cleft sentence? All I had to do, wait. So, cleft sentences can start with an all clause, plus be, and then plus the emphasized word or phrase. So in this example, all I had to do is the all clause, and wait is the emphasized word or phrase. And this means we are missing be. So we know that our missing word is some form of be. Now, all I had to do, so we're talking about a past situation, and we have used the past simple, so our missing word must be was. All I had to do was wait. Oh, great! What I love most about cleft sentences is, well, nothing. That was just another example of a cleft sentence. All I want for Christmas is you. Jesus Christ. But that was another example of a cleft sentence, and it's a very, very famous one. All I want for Christmas is you. Now I have told you that, you will never forget it, and therefore you will never forget the form of cleft sentences. Thank you, Toby. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye. See you later.
Anything go wrong, I can always leave the meeting and pretend this never happened.
What is the meaning here then? Well, anything go wrong is a condition clause, And I can always leave the meeting is a result clause. So we're talking about a possible future situation here. We know we need the first conditional here because in the result clause we have the word can, and here can is referring to a future possibility. We are talking about a likely future situation, and therefore we need the first conditional. And this means the answer is super simple, right? Because we know that to introduce the condition clause of a first conditional, we need one word, and that word is if. No! If here is impossible, and that is because in our condition clause we have the word go and not goes. Oh dear, that's a terrible thing. This is very strange because anything is a singular object, and normally after a singular object we need to use the third form, which usually entails adding an S to the end of a verb. However, here, that is not the case. Why? Why? Because this is an inverted first conditional. And when we invert the first conditional, we replace if with a modal verb. And after a modal verb, we always need the infinitive. And the infinitive of go is go, obviously. The question then is, when we invert the first conditional, what modal verb do we use? Do we use could? No. Do we use would? No. Do we use must? No. Do we use should? Yes! Yes, we do. We use should. This gives us, should anything go wrong, I can always leave the meeting. Yes! Yes! And if you are thinking, wow, I didn't know we could invert the first conditional with should, then that is something you definitely should know. And should you want to learn it, well, click the link right here. Yes, up here. It will tell you everything you need to know about inverting conditionals for the C1 Advanced Cambridge exam.
The meeting was starting. I pinched to check if I was dreaming, but the short, sharp pain reminded me that this was real.
Firstly, the meaning. If you understand what the verb to pinch means, then you will have no problems here. However, maybe you don't know what the verb to pinch means. And if you don't, well, it's not a problem. Let's go ahead anyway, and we can figure it out together. We know that pinch is a verb, and we know that doing this verb resulted in a short, sharp pain. So we know that the verb to pinch is a violent action. And violence is terrible. Please, don't be violent. To check is an infinitive of purpose. So, to check describes why the speaker pinched. This means that our space must be an object. I pinched, to check. Well, what or who did the speaker pinch? That is the question. Well, we can assume that the speaker pinched the speaker, and that's because the speaker felt the short, sharp pain. It's impossible to experience the pain of other people. It's impossible to even experience your consciousness. I don't even know if you really exist. You could be a robot, or you could just be in my head, and maybe I have lots and lots of imaginary acquaintances, because I haven't got any friends. God, let's hope they're not imaginary. At least if they were imaginary, they would be my friends, right? Surely. What am I talking about? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But yes, the speaker pinched the speaker, and this means we need the reflexive pronoun of the subject I. I pinched myself. Yeah, I pinched myself. That's the answer. Oh, and if you still don't know what pinch means, it's this. Ow. Ow. Am I dreaming? Ow. No, I'm not. It's that.
This will be the best day of my life.
So what is the meaning? This was a very good day. Was it the best day? Well, it probably wasn't the best day, because if it were the best day, the speaker would have said, this was the best day of my life. However, we know it was definitely a very, very good day. What will confuse students here is the word well. So let's ignore the word well for the time being. This be the best day of my life. Now it seems a lot simpler because be is the infinitive, and this suggests that we need a modal verb after this. This modal verb be the best day of my life. So then we have 4 possibilities: must, may, might, or could. However, we cannot say must, and this is because we have well. We use well after could, may, or might to emphasise that something is slightly more probable. If something must be, then it cannot get any more probable than must, and so there's no need to add well, because it's already very probable. So why would we say very, 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 very probable? It makes no sense. And I could well make a video about that in the future. That means it's very probable that I will. But I must make a video about that? No, it's not an obligation. But I could well make a video about that in the future. It's highly probable. And you might well watch it. Yes? Yeah. So for this one, we have 3 possible answers. Might, may, and could. All of them are correct.
My smile spread from one side of my face to other.
And finally, we have a nice and easy one. Let's focus on the meaning. When you smile, it starts here and finishes here. This is my smile. It starts on one side of the face and finishes on this side of the face. How many others could we be talking about then? Well, obviously only one, because other is singular here. And we know exactly which other we are talking about, because on one face there is one side and there is only one other. And because we know exactly which other side we are talking about, we need a definite article. So I smiled from one side to the other. The answer is the. And if you're confused about articles and when you should use the or a or an or no article at all, then of course I've got a video about it, right? Obviously, it's there. Yay.
I'd across his email address on his YouTube page and decided to ask for private lessons.
Firstly, let's look at the meaning. What is the sense of the sentence? It looks like we want to say found. The speaker found Toby's email address. Next, what is this D? Is this would or is this had? Well, we know that this D must be had. It's part of the past perfect. How do we know this? Because we have decided. And after would, we always need an infinitive because would is a modal verb, obviously. So, I had across. Of course, across is a preposition. So we need to create a phrasal verb that means find, to find. And of course, the verb here needs to be in the past participle because before it we have had, part of the past perfect. So can you think of a phrasal verb with across that means to find? 3, 2, 1. Come across. To come across. If you find something accidentally, it means you come across it. Ooh, I wasn't expecting to find that. I just came across it. Wonderful! And I know you really love come. Come is your favourite word ever. And you're thinking, Toby, if only I knew every single phrasal verb with come. Well, don't worry, because right here's a video about every single phrasal verb that you need to know with the word come. Great! And with that, we are finished. Now you know everything you need to know about doing part 2 of the C1 Advanced Use of English paper, the open close part of the exam, and boy, did we have fun together. It was great. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby and this was Smash English.